All right, welcome back to Yoga with Tim. Today we're going to do, it's day 7, that means it's your restorative day. You did so good. You got through the week, you kicked your butt all week. Now it's time to just treat yourself, and we're going to do some restorative. While I'm at it, today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, a site, or anything like that, you get 10% off on your next Squarespace setup by clicking the link below. Okay, so let's get started today in a supported shavasana to work on our breathing practice. So Stacy's going to lie down over this bolster, and depending on your neck flexibility or lack thereof, you might need a little pillow under your head. It looks a little too high, I think. Maybe the flat one? What do you think? Better or worse? That's better? Okay. Yeah, you want to be like the Princess and the Pea with this and get it just right, because too much neck support will be like you're reading a book, and then not enough, it'll feel like you're doing a back bend the whole time. And then just as a reminder, when you're sleeping, you can start to affect your posture. So ideally, you sleep on your back. That's the best way to sleep. And then with as a flat of a pillow as you can tolerate, just to support your neck curve, just a little bit of pillow to support the neck curve. With the arms, the more that the arms curl up, the more your nerves get the signal to shorten. So allowing the arms to be at your side is best. When you're on your side, something in between your legs. Someone had a question about sleeping postures, so just thought that I would address that. Okay, so in this position, we're allowing the chest to open up in this like supported sleeping position. You have the bolster underneath you so that the chest can open, the arms can open, the nerves can start to lengthen, and we're just going to practice a little bit of deep breathing in this position. So as you relax, feel the rhythm of your breath. And then so when you practice deep breathing, one of the most common things is that I notice that people are forcing too much, too aggressive. So think of it like you're taming a wild horse. And like instead of trying to wrestle the horse to tame it, you'd like, I don't know much about taming wild horses, but from the analogies that I've read in pranayama books, is that you'd want to run up alongside of it and try to match your energy with the energy of the horse to try to come along instead of trying to fight it to tame it. Okay, so in a similar style of thinking, as you go to lengthen the breath, instead think of your body as allowing more space for the breath so that the breath can come in and fill into the body. Instead of trying to suck or force air in, allow for more space for the air to come in. Allow the rib cage to expand more. And you're becoming a yogi through this practice, so you actually are able to allow those things in your body through your practice by stretching, strengthening, all the twistings that we do. We're all affecting the intercostals, the muscles in between the ribs. So we're actually learning to move the rib cage. That's pretty cool that you're learning that. Okay, now let's change the leg position to cross leg position. Like you're sitting crisscross applesauce, then take your arms up to the ceiling. Grab your elbows and let your arms reach back. Then bring your arms back up. Change the clasp. Change the cross of the legs. And let your arms fall back again. Then bring your arms back up, roll over to your side, and press yourself up to seated. Come onto your hands and your knees. And take 3 rounds of cat-cow to mobilize the spine a little. Then come into neutral, and next we're going to do supported downward dog. So curl your toes under, lift your knees, and stretch your hips up and back. Now for this variation, instead of leaning onto your head, you're going to go into down dog and then let your head drop onto a block. Hold on a second, let me get this thing in here. Now this is not an exact science, so we're going to work at this. So this block's too high, I think. Let me see if we should go like that. Still too high?
I don't know.
We don't know. Let's try to go a little lower. Yeah, you could hang out there. Does it feel okay on your shoulders? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is a good height for Stacy. She can rest her forehead. She's still active in her arms. What I don't want you to do is to bend your elbows and lean onto it or like jam yourself into it. So take enough support underneath your head so that you can hang out. And we're just going to hang out here for a little bit. So see if you can bring the softness of the meditation into the pose. You're still working to keep the hands even, to keep the legs active, but as the head rests, allow the pose to have a more cooling quality. Just 20 more seconds. Okay, then walk your feet forward. And then take your feet hip distance apart. And for this next one, we're going to support the head in Uttanasana. So you can kind of like Lincoln log this, which is toys that we had when I was a child. I don't know if you're familiar with the Lincoln logging. Nice. Okay, now Stacy is very flexible. This might look like putting your head on the counter, or lying over the kitchen counter, just lying out over it, or putting your head on the couch, or putting your head on a chair or a stool. So be in a position that you can release into the pose, but where it's more cooling instead of like you feel like you're gonna explode. Let the nerves calm. Twenty more seconds here. Then come back up and have a seat for Upavista Konasana. Sit with your legs wide apart. Okay, so again, because Stacy is flexible, she can sit up straight in this position on the floor. But if you were going to take a prop, I'd sit on a bolster like this, or pillows, or folded up blankets like that. We're just going to sit like this for half a minute. Let the thighs descend. Let the feet be upright. So when we're practicing restoratives, we use those calming, cooling opening poses so that you take the same energy into these less restorative poses. Then bring the feet into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees apart, and hang out there. Half a minute here. All right, then release that. And next we're going to practice Setu Bandha Sarvangasana with the support of a blanket and a bolster. Now, if you don't have this, you can do this over a block. But this is just a little softer of a feel since we're doing restoratives. Okay, so you're going to lie down onto your back, lift your buns up, and then I'm just going to slide this pile of junk underneath your butt. Okay, good. Then the arms will open up like cactus arms. Then from here, just one leg stretches out along the floor. So this is a good way to practice so that it's not too much pull. Like if your hip flexor is really tight, that's right in here. It attaches up into your lumbar. If it's really tight, it'll pull your lower back if you try to do both legs at the same time. You could try and see if it works for you. But this is a good way to teach this muscle to lengthen just one leg at a time. So we'll hold there for 30 seconds, just one leg stretched out. And then change legs. Actively reach the hips out of the back a bit, not aggressively. And then from the sides of the belly, roll the chest open so that it's like from the sides of the ribs and the chest, you're creating more space through the hips so that you're getting space through those spots in the spine that I talked about yesterday where we tend to hang into when we're doing back bends. So we're teaching those parts of the spine to be more healthy. Then rebend your knee and lift your buns up. Lower your hips down onto the floor for a moment. Then roll over to your right side. And for the last one, we're going to take the bolster pile over to the wall with you for supported bridge. So lie down flat on your back with the bolster next to you. Then put your feet onto the wall, lift your hips up, and slide that blanket bolster underneath your hips. So Stacy has it underneath her back so that the front ribs and the frontal hip bones, they're at the same height. She scooted it close enough. So if you look down, you can see that your hips are way above. That means the bolster should come closer toward, or the pillow or whatever you have should come higher up your back. But if it looks like your ribs are taking all the back bend, then you should slide it out of your back a little bit. And so we're going to take this as our shavasana today. If it feels like the bolster under your back is aggravating your back at all, then just lie flat. Then bend your knees and slide your hips off the bolster onto the floor and cross your legs up on the bolster. Change the cross of your legs. All right, then roll over to your side and gently press yourself up to seated. So sit up tall with your palms together, close your eyes, and just notice the calm in the body that comes after restorative practice. Restoratives can start to teach us how to feel more ease when we're practicing our poses, even when we're practicing active poses. So it's a great practice to integrate weekly. Thank you. Namaste. All right, so thanks for watching today. Again, restorative practices are great. They make us less reactive. They teach us to be more in touch with our nervous system, which is really important to learn the deeper aspects of yoga. So if you like today's video, please hit the like button, leave a comment below. Let me know if you have questions, concerns, thoughts about next videos, ideas, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hey, one last thing. Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain or a site, you can click on the link below and get 10% off your next Squarespace purchase. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.